What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Keeping Up with KP. It is officially peak week. We are 7 days out from show number 1. I am currently on my way to go and train. I have my lower body B today. We are pulling back on intensity. We're utilizing 2 reps in reserve for my working set. Food, we are working up gradually. We have pulled back on cardio. The hard work is done. I have had previous preps in my life where the last week you're like scrambling to get ready, like you're digging deep, the food is super low right up until the end, and this time it is so far the opposite. We set me up so well that we are feeding me into show gradually. We are minimizing stress. Cardio is minimal, training intensity is low. We want to keep the inflammation low in the body and just literally cruise right into this thing. My top priority is my mental and being present with the process. And so I'm going to do something this peak week that I have never done before. I am going to be taking some much needed time offline. And it's so crazy how social media is like such a part of our lives now. Like it's a part of the work. It's a part of the process. It's embodying and being an ambassador of the sport. At this point in time, my life literally revolves around social media and showing up online. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I love it. It is literally a part of my personality at this point. But when it comes to this process and the theme of this Ask the Amateur episode, Keeping Up with KP episode, this hybrid episode, the question that I'm going to focus on answering is, if I couldn't post bodybuilding on social media, would I still compete? Would I still do a show? Because I have seen this pop up over and over and over again, and it really got me thinking. Every other show day, I have been so focused on almost like performing for my audience, because I know people love following along with the journey. I know they get so excited about show day, and like obviously I do too. And so I started asking myself this question, and I was like, what would a show day be like without my audience, without anybody clapping for me in the DMs? What would peak week be like in that final stretch with no one cheering me on? You know, because that's when everyone cheers you on, is at the tail end, because everyone wants to be attached to the outcome, right? And so we're gonna find out. Even just making this decision has just given me like so much peace. So I'm gonna take you through the behind the scenes of my peak week. I'm not gonna show play-by-plays on my story. I'm still gonna capture bits and moments that I probably would share on my story. I'm gonna put it here. It's crazy, in the 6 years I've competed, I've never had this experience. I'm really looking forward to this week. This season just feels so sacred. Like everything surrounding this season just feels like it belongs in a glass case. So I'm protecting it at all costs. So peak week, the mind is right. I am feeling very pale. I started skin prep early. I want my tan to go on really well for show. I want to do everything right, just like a professional. It's hard to see myself super pale. But we do what is required. I'm not gonna lie, it feels very weird being set up so well for this first show. I just feel so prepared in every aspect. Like everything feels so aligned. I know I have earned this, but there is a part of me I am recognizing that is trying to self-sabotage, because in my head I'm like, I need to have a game plan of how present I'm gonna be and where my energy is gonna go and when, because I want to measure this week by my level of presence. But like, how can I measure it if I don't have a plan or an agenda of where my energy is gonna go? And so this is who I am. I am really going to try like hell to lean on everyone in my life and trust in them, trust in the process, trust in myself to execute and do what's required like I do every single day. And I'm gonna let that be enough. Being an athlete is going to be enough for me. The worst part about sharing the journey on Peak Week is like the cheap seats on Instagram, because that's what Instagram stories feels like to me. Everyone comes out of the woodwork and wants to watch. And that's fine. They should. I do it to other people. You know, you get invested at the tail end. You want to see how people do. I think right now I'm not in a place for that to serve me. There's too many people in those cheap seats in my life at the moment. And with this being such a sacred season and time for me, I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to protect my energy. And this week is what that's about. I have just pulled into train. Coach is competing. I get more excited about other people's shows than my own, I swear. Like with all these pro shows going on lately, like the Miami Pro, the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, like every weekend has just been like so exciting for me. So my coach is competing in Reno today, and I just like literally being on the same wavelength as my coach, he's 1 week ahead of me, has been the most incredible experience this prep. Like this has truly just felt like such an aligned and powerful season for me. And I feel so grateful to be at a point in my life where I just have truly found my people. I've found my people. I've found my purpose. I have a lot going on behind the scenes also that I haven't disclosed on here that I'm working on. And this is just such a sacred time in my life, and it just means so much to me. So doing this episode is my way of documenting the journey, sharing the journey, but on my terms. So I'm going to bring you through this Peak Week, and I hope this episode answers, if I couldn't share bodybuilding on social media, would I still compete? So let's get into it. It is Monday, June 1st. We are 5 days out from show number 1 of the season, Michigan State, our regional show, our warm-up show, our practice show. Yesterday started daily check-ins. Going into this week, I am feeling very grounded, very present. My main focus this week is just really minimizing the stress and keeping my mind in a good place. I'm really allowing myself to take up the space and just soak in this experience, which is something that I have never really done before. I am not posting anything on my stories. I typically do like a play-by-play of my Peak Week and just like really bring people through the journey with me, and I'm not gonna do that this time. We have a pact that he has to let me smell anything fun that he consumes. That was cinnamon raisin bread from Costco. That smells so delicious. Going in. Oh, it's so beautiful, you guys. It is such a game changer doing Pride Foods rice and grinds on the stove. 10/10 recommend. We are 4 days out. I just finished my final upper body day. We have already been pulling back on upper body for weeks now. So today we've pulled back even further on intensity to about 70-75%. So this was just like an easy breezy upper body pump. I did have my 20 minutes of cardio earlier in the day, and as far as training goes for the rest of this peak week, I have one cardio session left, which will be tomorrow, 25 minutes, my rest day. Thursday, I have a lower body B pump, and that's it for training this week. You know, reflecting on previous preps with previous coaches, I remember always just getting like a new peak week training protocol, which just really overcomplicates things. You really don't need to reinvent the wheel. When you just change the intensity at which you're doing the same movements, your body is used to those movement patterns, your mind is used to those movement patterns. So throwing in a whole new training program just exclusive for peak week just seems like noise. I feel like my mental when it comes to nutrition and training has changed quite a bit in this aspect, and this is just relevant because I'm getting a lot of questions from my clients that have been on a program for 2 weeks, and they're like, okay, what's next? And it's like, do the same thing but do it better. I really went into this week wanting to like have an agenda and be like super productive with my time and with my energy, and I've really made it my mission to just be present and let it be, and I am just doing that. Putting some distance between myself and social media, specifically my stories. I'm still posting my scheduled content. I'm still creating the content that feels good and right for me to share the journey, but I'm not putting that pressure on myself to give a play-by-play of this week. I'm just being present and letting it unfold, and it feels really different. Especially this show, we're just here to learn and gather feedback because we have never peaked this physique before, my coach and I. This is a brand new physique, so no peak week is the same because your physique shouldn't be the same every peak week. You should always be improving. And so this is the most muscle that I've had. We've been implementing strategies the entirety of this prep, doing consecutive high days, doing these refeeds, seeing how my digestion responds, seeing how my body responds. We have a lot of data from this season, a lot of really good data. So now we're just applying that data. So my job is to execute, to keep the stress low, to stay grounded, to be present, and to present myself in the best way possible this weekend. And so much of this part is mental. Right now, I'm just really in the work. Like, this is the work, you guys. But real quick, I have to go grab a birthday present from House of Lala here in Frankfort, Illinois for Hannah. Little Miss Hannah, my yoga instructor, has a birthday. So, BRB. We have secured the bag. This is who I am as a boss. This is who I am as a friend. This car is a lemon. It is literally on a mission to kill me, I think. 4 days out, mental landscape surrounding the physique. I was having a little bit of stress around my digestion because as we are implementing the feed up process, my digestion is always my biggest struggle point. And so I have been so diligent this season with my gut resets and just prioritizing my digestive health. I really thought my digestion was going to be the least of my worries. However, the last 2 days or so, I have been a little bloated. So that has caused a little bit of stress as we have done these daily check-ins. But the reason I'm having a little bit of bloating and digestive woes is because we are changing my supplementation a little bit, which messes with my digestion, and we are also manipulating my water intake, which messes with digestion, and we are also feeding me back up. So my food volume is a little bit higher, both on my training days and my rest days. So these are 3 different variables that we are throwing on top of the stress of peak week, no matter how much I'm trying to minimize it mentally, physically, emotionally, these things all affect your digestion. And so I had a couple days where things weren't so great, and that was causing a little bit of stress. So I went into this morning's check-in with that being my concern. Actually, the last 2 days, that was like my biggest concern. A little difficult for me to control my core and my lower abdomen because I was having a little bit of bloating because of all of these variables. However, things are starting to regulate. My coach has talked me off the ledge, and I think we are in a good place to just like cruise into show. The good news is I am not on my cycle, so I don't have to deal with like bloating from period or anything like that. It was just really getting over this hump digestive wise, and now I am back regular, so that is good. That is really the only stress I had in regards to my physique. We are continuing to check in daily, trust the process. All is good, great, and wonderful on that front. Mental and emotional landscape, things that have come up this week for me that I've just had to like get out, talk through with Ryan, my partner, with my coach. And something that just like really hit me today is my environment, which is something that I changed this prep. My environment at home, my environment at work, and my environment at the gym, which has been huge. My gym environment before was not the best. I didn't really have like a positive community around me, to be honest with you. It's kind of just like icky feelings. And then we switched for about a year to Planet Fitness just out of convenience because it was right across the street from our business, and Planet Fitness was just a little difficult for me. I mean, honestly, I can work out anywhere. It's fine. I can train anywhere. I can do that. I have done that the entirety of my fitness journey. However, I just really noticed this prep that by changing gyms, by changing my environment and being surrounded by more like-minded people, it has made a significant difference. I've had trainers invested in my journey since the start because I really changed all of these environments at the same time. My home environment, my training environment, and my work environment, where I started working a lot more from home. I started doing a lot more work that was more aligned during this competition prep. It's been really encouraging having people at the gym just like noticing and acknowledging and kind of just like cheering me on, patting me on the back throughout this prep, and like seeing my progress and like keeping up with me, like how close are we, how are we doing, you're looking lean, you're looking, just having that. I will say it is difficult at times because nobody else in the gym competes. They just know someone that has competed, so nobody fully gets it in my world. The only person that fully gets it is my husband, and we have had a lot of conversations this week because although he gets it, he started competing when he turned 40. And so his intention for starting the journey and his drive was to age better, to have a personal goal. And it was more so as a hobby. And that's how it was introduced to me too. But if you've been following the journey, I have been taking it more and more seriously every season. And it's led me to where I am today. And so there's been a lot of buildup at the beginning of this week because a lot of the encouragement that I'm getting is that, oh, you're almost there, you're almost done. So there's a lot of that, and then there's a lot of just have fun. And I know all of this encouragement is coming just like from a place of love, but it's been making me feel a little bit misunderstood, and I'm having like a little bit of an internal battle because for me, it's like people don't understand. Like, I don't want this to end. I love this process. I love being in the work so much that I literally do not want this to end. I don't see a finish line. I just see every single second of the day ahead that I can squeeze an opportunity out of to get better. And then when people say, oh, just have fun, I want to. And I am feeling moments of joy and happiness, like the happiest I have ever felt in my entire life. But I struggle at times to allow myself to fully have fun because for me allowing myself to have fun feels like I'm allowing myself to take this less seriously. So what I'm learning this week and what I learned during this prep, really, because I've talked about in previous episodes how it feels like if it's not pain and suffering, then you're not doing it right. And that's not to say this prep hasn't been hard, but because I have taken this more and more seriously, it's made for a better prep. It's made for an experience that required less suffering. Or I guess you could just say I've gotten better at suffering. So for the just have fun bit, it's difficult for me to switch into fun mode because this hasn't been a casual, fun thing that I've been doing for the last 6 years. The times where I took it less seriously, I was frustrated. I still had that drive within me. I just wasn't to the point yet where I could take myself more seriously. And since I've gotten to that point and I have done that, I'm now learning that joy and fun can coexist with taking it seriously. Because I've said several times, this is not about who suffers the most, it's about who suffers the best. And so I'm just trying to arrive at a point with myself where I can measure my progress by the amount of presence that I have with the process. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And I'm grateful to have a coach, a mentor, a friend who has been here, who I can talk about this with. And I'm grateful to have a partner who, while he doesn't fully get it, he understands. And he understands what this means to me. He believes in me. And he does everything in his power to help me be my best every single day, including helping me through these mental escapades. But in regards to my gym environment, the manager has been offering for the last several weeks for me to use the group fitness room in between group fitness classes to practice my posing. And so I had asked him yesterday if I could do that today. And so I had every intention after my upper body pump to go in there and pose. And you guys, this is exactly why I am just offline and in my own lane, because I pull my heels out of my bag and I brought 2 of the same foot of different shoes. And so this is just kind of the part of prep where you are not the most high functioning human. And it's moments like this that make you really realize that. And so I'm just kind of giving myself the space to try to take care of my mental the best that I possibly can, to be patient with myself, to be present with myself. And this is really just like the most grounded and aligned I feel going into this week, being able to openly talk about how I'm feeling, what I'm feeling, and also getting validated by someone who's been in my shoes, and being validated by somebody that knows my heart and understands me and sees me on a daily basis working towards something that means so much to me. Because not being surrounded by like-minded people or by people running the same race as me, sometimes when you show up for show day, it's a bit of a shock to your system being surrounded by so many people that have been running the same race as you for the last however long their prep is, or however long they've been working towards this goal, right? And so that's why I love this sport. That is why I love show day, because I finally feel like I have a community. And that's why I love sharing the journey here online on YouTube, like the friends that I have made through bodybuilding. It takes a really special person to have that drive and to really get and understand what is required. And something else that has happened this season that I talked about earlier on with my coach, and I never talked about on here, is like, it's kind of started to feel a little lonely in a sense, because you make friends online and you're running the same race with people kind of at the same pace as you, if you will. So I keep up with people that are aspiring professionals, right? And then some people turn pro, and some people are still just like running this race with you. But something happened, because in the last 6 years that I've been competing, it's always been the same people that I keep up with, and I kind of like gauge my progress based on where they're at. And literally everyone running the same race with me in my world. And again, my circle is very small. I purposely keep it pretty small, but literally every single person that I have been alongside in this journey has, for whatever reason, kind of stopped running the race. And some of these people are people I was trying to keep up with that turned pro 1 or 2 seasons ago, and they never stepped on a pro stage, or they decided it's not for them, or a time in their life changed where they got married, they're in a different season of life, so they've put bodybuilding down. And here I am, still running this race, taking it more serious than ever. And yeah, of course, you follow new people and you make new connections, but there was just a time in the journey where I just felt a little lonely, or just like disappointed in a sense that these people weren't running the race anymore, that I no longer felt like I really had anybody in my corner to keep up with. Obviously, you're always aspiring to be the next best version of yourself, but it does help to have an online community that you keep up with too, you know? So that was just another thing that went on this prep. It's been very interesting to navigate, like in my day-to-day life, not really having anybody super like-minded, kind of just like an outsider to the world around me with how I go about my day, I go about my life. Part of this is being an entrepreneur and a business owner, but most of it is being an athlete and the level of seriousness I am taking myself, I'm taking this season, I'm taking this goal. I've just really started burying my nose in books about high achievers and just kind of taken it as confirmation that I am on the path to greatness, with it feeling a little bit lonely at times. And truthfully, I've never really felt lonely. It's more so just been feeling a little bit misunderstood. And by doing the work mentally, I have just kind of started measuring my success by how lonely I feel, or by how misunderstood I feel. So 4 days out, that's where we're at. I'm just really switching into recovery mode, taking the pressure off of myself, focusing on what's ahead of me, executing the plan. I have set myself up so well, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm just leaning into things that feel good and right for me. Honestly, a bit of that is gift giving, getting this gift. It just feels good for me to give. All that to say, that is where I am 4 days out. I need to go eat. Three days out, it is a rest day, it is a pack and prepare day. Plan adjustments from today's check-in. We are actually going to be pulling back a little bit more on my rest day, low day menu. So pulling back on carbs in all of my meals, and I've decided I'm going to pull veggies out of my last meal. I'm very focused on getting my digestion and bloat under control, and it's really not bad. I'm just like hypersensitive about this, and I want to be very prepared going into this feed up, because we are going to be doing 2 consecutive high days. I have a full day of sitting in the car tomorrow, of traveling. I think it's about a 5-hour drive, so I just really want to set myself up and be like fully prepared, which is why we're pulling back a little bit more on food today. We're also pulling back 1 liter of water today, which is no big deal because it's still 5.5 liters of water that I'm getting in, which is not hard for me at all. It's funny because I can be hungry all day long, take my food, I don't care, but when you start depriving me of water, I start to panic. That is the most difficult part for me. I've got a birthday present to deliver to the studio, but I'm first gonna go and grab a birthday card and some macaroons. That's the thing, going out of town, like this is what is actually consuming my mind, and what I'm actually focused on is making sure other people have a happy birthday. This week I've taken the pressure off myself to show up online. So I haven't posted 1 story. I have not allowed myself to even like scroll, and it has been so good for my mental health. But I do feel like I owe it to my audience to just say, hey, I'm good, because I have gotten several DMs of people being like, are you still competing this weekend? And I appreciate people checking on me, because I know people are probably expecting me to post a play-by-play of this week like I always do. But we're doing things a little bit differently, so I just wanted to let everybody know that. I wanted to let them know about my 9 days out YouTube, and I wanted to share the progress from 1 year ago today to today. So this side by side, this is my back pose today versus my back pose 1 year ago. I did a show on the same weekend. It was Atlantic States in New Jersey. So that's what I looked like last year, 3 days out from show. This is what I look like this year, 3 days out from show, and that to me just feels like I've already won. You know, I did this entire season differently by taking myself more seriously, and I'm holding true to that up until the end by how serious I'm taking this peak week. I've been saying this a lot, but if you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. And I have always come out of these shows just so overstimulated and just like underwhelmed by the level of presence that I had with it. It's like you blink and it's over, and I'm just like, I just wish I could have stayed in it longer. So by just sharing that little reflection and seeing how far I have come, it excites me. So we're gonna get packed, prepared, and we will be on the road tomorrow on our way to Michigan for show 1 of the season. Let's not forget a very important part of show preparation. My children. Macy's a disaster and she's getting a bath right now because our dog sitter is picking up my babies in a couple of hours. We're just gonna give a quick rinse-a-roo right now. I also owe Terry a picture of me seeing a new outfit, so. Let me see. You are so pretty. Pretty girl. You've got to be kidding me. This is not my suit. There's something wrong. They sent my suit, and then on Friday, they told me I had like a $25 credit, right? And then they said they forgot to put this in with my suit, so they were sending it separately and after the fact. So why is this here and not my suit?
At the next stop sign, turn left.
We have arrived. The good news is we have a stovetop. The bad news is I didn't know we were going to be losing an hour to travel, so we are a bit behind on meals, but we are making pre-workout now. We are going to train a lower body B pump. Should be quick, efficient. We're gonna update coach and get on with the night. Unpack, wind down.